Good evening, everybody. So today I'm a little bit hot under the collar, but we're just going to be talking about where I think we're going to be headed over the next few years here. As you know, I've already been predicting a second lockdown here in the United States. For those of us here in the USA bubble, kind of count yourselves lucky because kind of where we're sitting, we're one of the last countries that's standing that's not really under a total and complete lockdown. I know people in California are kind of having to deal with things, and I know a few other states are starting to ramp things up because the cases are going up. Oh my lord, the cases. We don't need to get into the technical specifications of all of that nonsense, which is what it is, nonsense. But just kind of talk about what's to come for us here in the United States. And I'd have to say that it's probably going to be very similar to other Western countries. The UK is basically under a total police state lockdown situation, as far as my understanding. And protests of more than two people will be illegal under updated rules for the UK national lockdown. So, the criminals in government over there are at it again, which is we're seeing the absolute destruction of the world as we speak. We are moving into a technocratic control grid society that's headed up by the banks, the social media companies, the big tech giants, and of course, our friends in that little tiny Middle Eastern country, the only democracy in the Middle East, and, the intelligence agencies, all the criminals and all of the corrupt governments all over the world. But, here in the United States, we're getting, looks like we're getting a new commander in chief, and so a lot of people are going to be, which they were already, but they're going to be welcoming it, right? Because they turn on the TV and they see the ominous music and these news reports coming in, and they start getting scared and oh my gosh, we need a mandate for wearing of face diapers. We need a mandate. If we would have just locked down properly, this would be over. Just complete brainwashed people that it's just gotten so crazy that the simulation theory is looking more and more plausible to me, right? The simulation theory, the NPC theory, or the fact that there's just, basically soulless golems running around in the world that are just so absolutely brainwashed that they can't see what's going on, no matter how much evidence you put in front of them, no matter how hard reality hits people in the face, they just cannot see what's really going on here. And it's obvious at this point. It's not something that it's not hard to argue. These things right here, like this 99.95% breathe free, end the lockdowns, nothing social about this thing, all these things, very, very obvious, very apparent. That all the statistics, all the numbers are out there, right? But if it doesn't go along with the narrative, these NPC characters that we see running around, which I'm obviously I don't have any evidence of it, but it's looking more and more like that's the case, right? Just absolutely nothing you can do to get through to some of these people, right? So they're going to be cheering this on. So this is where we're headed, and I've been saying this for months now that we're going to be hitting the second lockdown, and I've showed you all of the articles, all of the people that are tied up with the Belinda Gates and tied up with the WH0 foundations and all the different groups that have a vested interest in shutting us down, the World Economic Forum, all of them have been telling us that we're going into a second lockdown. Doesn't matter what the death rates are. Doesn't matter what the statistics are. Doesn't matter. As long as they're able to say that there's more cases, we're subject to anything they decide, right? If they speak it, it will come to fruition. And, nobody stands up. Nobody does anything. A few scattered protests here and there, in the United States anyways, but elsewhere they are protesting, such as in Germany. Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, I don't know, huge crowds. Seen a lot of images of just massive crowds in Germany fighting back. And, Germany is basically, World War II Nazi-style Germany at this point. It has been for quite some time. And it's really interesting to see how that happens, right? Isn't it interesting to see how it happens? It's incredible how they can manipulate people and tell them that, oh, this is now progressive, and we care about minorities, and we don't want to be racist, and that's why we're doing all of these wonderful things. And it's just we're going through just straight up tyranny all over the world, all in the name of progressivism and, caring for people, right? But everything that they're doing, we've already seen what the results are, right? Millions of people out at work, millions of businesses shut down, people dying and as a result of all of the lockdowns and legislation and mandates and proclamations by criminal governments and criminal politicians. And nobody cares about that, right? The only deaths that matter are those that they can label as a C-19 death. That's it. Those are the only deaths that matter. Anything else, who cares? People starving to death, unable to pay their mortgage or their rent, doesn't matter, right? Does not matter. None anything else, it doesn't matter. And you're just an idiot, bigot conspiracy theorist if you believe otherwise. Because I like science. Oh, God, this is making me sick to my stomach. More images. They're asking for this evil demon to be ousted. And she should be. Merkel exposes the reason Germany has been forced to impose lockdown. No scientific basis, right? Nobody's like, okay, here's the evidence that lockdowns are a positive, have a positive result on the spread of the C-19. Nobody's come out with that, right? They just say it. They just say it. And people, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, the politician told me this. Oh, yeah, that's good then. Yes, that's good. I care about black people. I do. So, yeah, I agree. So we know what's next. We've already heard this demon here, the elect. We already know that he's been talking about mask mandates, so that's coming next. Me personally, I've still only worn one once because I was forced to go to a doctor to get a diagnostic test for my son. And I felt defeated when I did it. I felt disgusting. I felt stupid. And when I was in the doctor's office, there was one other family in there, Hispanic family. Seemed like decent enough people, but you're just your typical Americans, right? Obese. Both the mom and the dad obese. They had 2 or 3 kids with them. I don't remember. One of them was a little bit older, had his little face nappy on. That's heartbreaking to see children having to do it, even because we know that it has absolutely no effect on them, which is just so weird how that works, right? It's weird how the C-19 understands people's age and it understands time limits and curfews and stuff. Like it only is dangerous after 7 p.m. things like that. It's only dangerous if you've had a couple beers. And then of course Peter Buttgag. Lockdown's still on the table. So this is next. The Great Reset is going to be moving forward. Any semblance of resistance to that has, gone to the wayside here in the United States. Everybody's too worried about, the selection situation. But this is still lurking in the background. Just wait. End of this year, or even the winter. They already said it's going to be a dark winter. Who knows what's going to happen with the selection? But it's looking like they're installing empty meat suit Joey. And I came across this. This is GreatReset.com. I looked into this a little bit. Wasn't able to find any connection to the Wii forum. Let's watch this together.
We have the power to capture imaginations and influence how the world behaves. But we've used that power without thinking about its effect. Until we paused and reconsidered what was essential. And for a moment, we only made what the world truly needed. We now have an opportunity to use our influence for society and the planet's best interests. Because right there in front of us is a great, big, blank page. Our chance to use our creativity to to reimagine, to question what we influence, to reset the way we live. So pick up your pens, your mouse, your camera, write, play, perform, or whatever you do, and join the Great Reset.
You ever notice that you ever notice the imagery that they all these people use? It always has to be demonless, demonic, and soulless looking. And I'm not even like a religious guy myself. You know what I mean? I'm not an atheist or anything like that, but I'm not even like a super religious guy. All these people, they just use the same imagery, the blank eyes and the gaping mouth, and So, anyways, I guess this is a marketing firm. Can't find any. It's not one of those foundations or anything like this. These are actual people. What is the Great Reset? The Great Reset is a creative industry movement to embed the positive environmental shifts that have happened during lockdown as the new normal. Our industry has power and influence, but we need lots of people to choose to use it. We must grab this opportunity to help shape a society that puts mankind and our planet's needs first. To do this, we need to reset ourselves to become agents of change, not just passive receivers of briefs, whatever that means. Reset our work so what we create promotes sustainable values, attitudes, and behaviors. Reset our impact by reevaluating what we measure and celebrate as success. So did you notice they said we only created what was essential? So right, that's what we're going to be divided up into: essential and non-essential humans. And these are actual people that have just sucked the propaganda from the UN and the World Economic Forum and all the other people, right? Just soaking up in the propaganda to where they actually believe this stuff, and they're getting on board. And don't you find it's funny how they put these like little tiny houses floating around? Because that's what they want. That's what they want. They think that locking things down and destroying people's lives, right? They think that this is great. They think it's great because incredible minds like Al Gore, 40 years ago or 30 years ago or whatever it was, said that we had 10 years left, right? And that's been the same thing over and over and over and over again. Yet nobody on that side of things can ever logically think about, gosh, that's strange. That's strange that all of these people, all of these climate activists and climate experts that come out and tell us every few years, oh, we have 5 years, oh, we have 7 years, oh, we have 12 years. Nobody can look at that and go, well, that's weird. Isn't it weird how all these people make these predictions over and over and over again? And yet here we are, the same exact position that we're always in, right? It's ridiculous every time. Every time. And then, of course, anything that happens in the world is due to the climate. The virus is because of the climate. Everything is because of the climate. Everything, right? Oh yeah, let's use windmills. Let's kill some birds. Oh yeah, put nuclear energy on there, right? Because that's literally the cleanest energy source that we have. Yeah, let's get rid of that. That makes sense. It's just so stupid. I'm a little bit fired up, and it's not even really because of the situation that we're in, right? I mean, I knew we were going to be in this situation. I knew it was coming. The reason I'm fired up is because people are so damn brainwashed. That's really what aggravates me the most out of all of this, right? If the majority of people were kind of seeing things and at least just speaking out, or at least like, we get what you're saying, man. We get it. Then it wouldn't be so bad. But I just see these people going along with it. And I just want to shake them like, wake up, man. What is wrong with you? Little kids, women and children all over the world right now, starving to death. Millions of people literally millions of people are going to be dying right now as we speak because of the lockdowns. And there's people like this advocating for it, right? Right? Because useless people, get the useless people out of there. And it's always, these are the type of people that will tell you and I that we have white privilege, or we're privileged, right? These are the type of people that'll say that, but then they're advocating for actions that are literally killing millions of people that are actually underprivileged. Not this fake Western version of privilege, right? People that live off of 50 cents a day, right? That if they miss one day of work, their family is at risk of starving to death. Those people that the people that everybody votes for, right? These governments all over the world, like, oh yes, you're so progressive. They're the people that collaborate with the corporations, these different civil society organizations, everything else that are destroying people in the third world, people in Africa and India and all these other people that are actually underprivileged. Not this fake underprivileged stuff like in the West, right? The actual underprivileged. Millions of people are going to die. And these are the people they claim to care about. Brown people, black people, all the people they say that they care about, right? But they don't give a shit. Nobody cares, right? As long as they get to virtue signal about the climate. Oh, yes, that's what we need to be doing. Oh, the climate, right? Lives, actual human lives, families are being destroyed. Millions of people all over the world dying. These people don't care, right? As long as they get to make little fancy things and have little advertisements with their progressive people. Look, oh, this guy's probably LGBT. Oh, black woman, very powerful. A racially ambiguous woman here with a nice cow ring. And oh gosh, look, that's very progressive. These people are very progressive. This is, oh man, I'm on board with this. We care about people. We really do. Just such nonsense. All of it, just nonsense, right? Actually looking at these lockdowns and thinking that it's okay. But why? Why is it? It's because these people right here are privileged, right? Privileged, rich liberals, right? They get to work from home, right? They work remotely, right? They don't have to worry about everything. Everybody else brings them things, right? They can just have everything delivered. Those idiot non-essential people stock the shelves. Those retarded, non-essential people are the ones driving the trucks. But hopefully we'll be able to get rid of that with automated driving, and that'll be good for the environment, right? It's always the privileged people are claiming that other people are privileged, and they're the ones that want to end society, right? So that they can virtue signal about how wonderful they are, right? It's disgusting. These people are disgusting, and no matter what their visuals are, and no matter, that's interesting, isn't it? No matter how hard they virtue signal, they just don't understand that they are a part of the problem. As a matter of fact, they are the problem, right? The people that are advocating for the actions of these gross governments, these gross, evil, vile governments all over the world. They're the problem, because without the collaborators, the governments wouldn't have any power. If it wasn't for people like this, groups like this that were going along with it, there wouldn't be a problem. There just wouldn't be. But the only way they're able to get along with it is because people go along with their plans and advocate it. It's disgusting. Oh yeah, it's bump elbow. These people make me sick. Anyways, so moving on to the selection. So, I'm sure many of you saw my Q video from last night, right? God, I keep not supposed to say it, right? My video about the 17th letter, and that PSYOP scam. So there's this guy, this Dr. Steve Pachenik, who says that he's a ex-CIA or whatever, and he's always on InfoWars and making all kinds of nonsensical stuff, right? Well, he's been running around saying that he's that the whole thing with the irregularities in the presidential selecting process, well, that was just a big, huge sting event, right? And they put a little watermark on all of the ballots, and so what's going to happen is that they're just going to expose the entire fraud, right? So again, it's more 17th letter of the alphabet nonsense, right? So this guy is David Nye, and out of everything that the info.wars group puts out, this guy seems to be one of the more reasonable ones. And if anybody, honestly, if that was true, if it was true that these watermarks were there or whatever, they would have already exposed it. They wouldn't have let it get this far, right? Honestly, we all see what's going on with it, right? Everybody understands exactly what's happening. It's mathematically, statistically impossible what's happening right now. Very clearly so. But no, we're Trump's filing little bitty lawsuits here and there, and we need a recount. That doesn't do anything. You need audits, right? Recounts just feeds the same things in the machine, right? So, of course, my opinion, it looks like they're already installing Joey Joe. But, which would make my prediction wrong. I predicted they were going to reinstall Trumperino. But apparently I was wrong about that, which, whatever, right? Two sides of the same coin. So, anyways, let's watch a little bit of this.
I just about fell out of my chair when I saw this headline from Reason Magazine. Now, Reason Magazine can have some, they look at things a little bit differently. And sometimes they can have some very good insights. Other times they can be totally off the wall. This one, Trump says mail-in votes are suspicious because they overwhelmingly favor Joe Biden. Well, he's wrong. Oh, really? That in and of itself is true, but that's not the whole truth. And they base this whole article and its premise on not anything having to do with the issues that people are talking about. We're just talking about the big spread between the votes for president and the votes for senator in these by party, in these states that are swing states, as Vince Agnelli was saying. You look at Georgia, and overwhelmingly at the state level, everybody was voting Republican this time. So why, with the exception of, why would President Trump have a big lead and then all of a sudden after these extended days of mail-in ballots, they would continue to go for Biden until he gets right over the line? No, nothing suspicious about that, is there? And when you look at the fact that that difference there in Georgia, only 800 more people voted for President Trump than for the senator there. But you had 95,000 more vote for Biden than for the Democrat senator there. Was it that bad a candidate for Democrat senator? I mean, that is an unbelievable amount. That's 2 orders of magnitude difference there, right? 100 times more. So it's pretty amazing to see that kind of thing. Now, what they said is Trump supporters voted mostly in person. And he's been beating this drum for 6 months that mail-in voting was risky and dangerous, saying that you could alter or lose those ballots. You could bring in 130,000 of them at very late at night. Why would people think that could happen, right? Because we actually see it happening. So then the question is this. Is this a sophisticated sting operation? Frankly, I don't think so. I mean, that's what Steve Pieczenik said, and I've seen this put out on some Q sites and other places. I have to ask the question: is if is this fraud? I think it obviously is fraud. Did everybody know that there would be fraud? Of course they did. President Trump knew there would be fraud. So was this a sting? As Pieczenik was talking about this, he talked about a particular agency, CISA. They are tasked with election security, among other things. Now, CISA is not something that was created by Trump. This guy who is in charge of it, 2018, was put in by the Trump administration. But look, CISA is the latest incarnation of about, I don't know how many different attempts. They tried to run CISPA through 2 or 3 times. And it was essentially the same thing. They just removed the P for protection because I think it was kind of a question for a lot of people as to who is really being protected. And the reality was that with CISPA and with SOPA and with ACTA and with PIPA, these were being pushed through primarily to protect big internet companies who were going to be used as a arm of the intelligence agencies. They were going to be used to spy on you because they were getting concerned about the fact that they might have some legal jeopardy. You just had Clapper had been caught lying about dragnet surveillance on the American people. He hadn't passed his statute of limitations yet, so he could have been facing a perjury trial. All these people were in legal jeopardy, so they wanted to get rid of that. And we had these things being put up throughout the United States and throughout Europe saying that you would not be able to sue these companies that you deal with for basically being
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that back then, but that was a big deal. All these people were trying to come out and just brute force take over the internet, right? It's the all the SOPA, PEPA, CISPA, all these different things were coming out at the time. That's what he's talking about. And that was wild. It was wild what they were trying to push through. And, a lot of people stood up against that. So they eventually failed.
Snitches to the surveillance agencies. They had to make sure they had that covered. And that's really what CISA was about. It was not about protecting us from Democrat corruption. In a sense, what it was doing was giving legal immunity to big tech to become snitches for the CIA, if you will, just like Fauci had given legal immunity to the big pharmaceutical companies to protect them from injury and death with their products. So, when we look at this, to me, I said this from the very beginning, the plan is really to allow massive voter fraud and throw the country into turmoil. We all knew that this was going to happen. So we allowed this to happen to throw us into turmoil. For another 80 days, we're going to have that, at least, probably. And if the idea was to put out a secretly watermarked ballot and then pull this back to expose them as criminals, you could have still done that. As a matter of fact, if President Trump would have stopped the lockdown, stopped this lockdown election, he would have won by an even bigger margin. And then these Democrats, if they try to pull anything like that, and they probably still would, you could still rope them in, and you would have more credibility. To me, if this was a sting, it doesn't even make any sense. It's another one of these deals like the laptop with Hunter Biden. They waited to the very last minute to put that thing out thinking it was going to be a surprise. And then everybody just said, well, it's not credible. The media is going to put out the narrative that's not credible. It doesn't matter if you got documents. It doesn't matter if you got photographic evidence. You can have all the documentation that you want in the world, and they're not going to believe it because the mainstream media and social media are going to censor you, and they're going to put out their narrative. So I don't see that's going to do anything other than to create a forest fire of chaos. And instead of lighting more forest fires, why wouldn't you put out the primary forest fire, which was the lockdown? And you could have taken out this corruption with credibility if you had taken on Fauci and exposed his corruption. At that point, it would have been the Russiagate, it would have been the Fauci takeover and lockdown, and people would have believed this. But instead, we're supposed to believe there's some kind of Machiavellian secret plan that we should just trust while the U.S. burns in chaos. Maybe that is ultimately the plan. Look, I didn't jump into Pizzagate. I don't allow Pachinik to come on this show because last time he came on this show was right after the shooting in Vegas. He came on this show to sell the lie that nobody died in Vegas because he's trying to trap me. This guy is a CIA shill, and he comes on to trap us. That's one of the ways that they discredit you. I'm not having anything to do with that. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Oh, yeah.
That was the main part that I wanted you guys to see. So that's pretty interesting because they have that guy, they have that fraud on all the time, right? They've had him on all the time, and people forward me little things all the time with that guy. Oh, look what Dr. Steve Pachinik says, and it's just such absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense, right? And I'm sorry, people. Well, he's no longer CIA. He's just a patriot, right? Sorry, CIA is like a gang. It's blood in, blood out. You're not just like, oh, now I used to be CIA. Now I'm an ex-CIA. No, sorry, that's not the way that works, right? You're an actual CIA agent, maybe like a paper pusher or whatever. Okay, they could be ex-CIA, but if you're like an actual agent in the CIA, you're not just, oh, I retired. I quit and I retired. I'm no longer affiliated. No, sorry, you're bound by all the same nonsense. And I don't care what anybody says about that. So to somehow think that he's like, oh, he's just some patriot. He's trying to expose it. The good guys in government. I'm so sick of hearing that. Because I'm sorry, there aren't good guys in the intelligence agencies that are trying to help us. And then, of course, the 17th letter of the alphabet is not gonna die, right? They're probably going to keep up this nonsense even after they get rid of Trump. I mean, you would think at this point, people are like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe all that 17th letter of the alphabet stuff wasn't real after all. Maybe we did get duped. All right, time to move on, right? Let me just make it clear why I disdain the 17th letter of the alphabet theory so much. I've said it many times, right? The reason is because if it wasn't for that, all of these people that are actual patriots, right? Instead of going along with everything willingly, the lockdowns, the face diapers, the shot in the arm program, everything else that's been coming out, right? Increasing military spending, all of the things that we did, all this, the stimulus, everything that's happened that should have been stood up against, right? All of these things that happened, these people would have been protesting, but instead, everybody's sitting around believing it's the part of some elaborate plan. So all the patriots, decent people that believe in freedom, at least at some type of level, that maybe would have been standing up and fighting back against all of this stuff, right? Instead, everybody's sitting in front of their computer, waiting for the next drop, trusting the plan. Don't worry, D-class is coming. The 500 bajillion gabillion sealed indictments are coming. They're going to take everybody down. None of it ever happened. Oh, look, somebody's clock was at 10 and 2. Can you believe it? Yeah, it's a sign. Oh, Trump never discredited the 17th letter movement. He never did. It must be real, right? And then there's all these frauds, right? All these frauds on social media. And not all of them are frauds, right? Some of them actually legitimately believe it. But there's a lot of frauds. A lot of frauds like this one right here that are on social media pushing this nonsense, right? And these people, they've been making predictions for years and years and years and years and years and years. And, none of them are right? Oh, the next year the economy's crashing under Obama, and if you don't have this amount of this, you're gonna be left behind, right? Been making all kinds of predictions, right? Never coming true. And yet they're still pushing the 17th letter, right? They have all kinds of followers. They got removed from YouTube just like a lot of people did in October. But these people here, X22 report, absolute total fraud grifters the entire time. They're still pushing it down. They're still pushing the narrative of the 17th letter. It's incredible, and people are buying it. Here's a recent tweet 4 hours ago. Propaganda's flashy. Sounds look great until the truth is presented with facts. Then propaganda starts to dull. As more facts are presented, the propaganda fades away into the ether. At the right moment, and only at the right moment, will the truth present itself. Steady. Yes, everybody be steady. Trust the plan, everybody. Trust the plan. Just wait. When the military injects us all with their experimental shots, don't worry, just trust. It's coming from fearless leader Trump and the 17th letter group. It is great. It's crazy. How do you put the country back on the right track? We've been living in the matrix. Up is down. Right is left. Did the people really have the power, or did they feed us an illusion for years and years? It's time to break the illusion and show the people the truth. Buckle up. Ooh, are we gonna get another drop X22 report? You friggin' fraud. I don't normally call out people directly, but these people over here, absolute frauds. Absolute 100% total frauds. Period. Yeah. It's just so ridiculous, right? It's just so ridiculous. Still pushing the 17th letter of the alphabet. Still pushing it. Such an absolute joke. Here's some Biden supporters having a little victory celebration. You're gonna want to take a look at that green bottle right there. That's what we're viewing here. Yes, we're celebrating. Yes, See now, these are the people. These are the NPCs, right? Just totally brainless, brainwashed NPCs. Passing around a bottle of champagne, I think. Wearing their diaper, taking a drink, putting it back on, and passing it around. Just the absolute, just devoid of any type of logic or common sense or reason. And going along with the 17th letter, this guy says, or person, whatever, do you trust the plan now? This person, starting to realize it, super hard to when everything's so cryptic, and been out of the loop with 17 cents, pub went down. But having faith and know God wins. Oh yeah, let's have faith. Yeah. This person says, more than ever, this is straight out of the Art of War playbook. Stand back and let your enemy believe he's won. Let his guard down and go for the kill. Monday is 11/9. Winky wink. I must. Prayers and fingers crossed. Never has there been more of a desire in me to be free. Trust in him. Yes, we trust the plan, but tired of waiting for something concrete. Hopefully next week. How many times do you think that John LE86 here has said, well, next week, next month, next week, next month, next week? This person says, yup, can't wait to see the shock on people's faces. That is what drives my trust. Sure do. Heck yeah, bless. Think we're in the stage of them self-incriminating to the full extent. Yes, 100%. Hell yeah, get 'em. And then they just keep going. My response? Trump is activating sessions soon and will move in to arrest Hillary Clinton and drain the swamp and declassify everything. Trust the plan. Jeffrey Epstein is going to be testifying in court too. I'm just so done with it. I'm just so done with it, man. These are all good people here, right? These are good people that could be actively taking action to actually wake people up to what's going on, right? But instead, everybody's, trust the plan, ding, 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 trust the plan, trust the plan. I've just had it. I've had it. I'm done with it. I've had it. And unfortunately, seeing this type of stuff here leads me to believe that even after this is over, they're still going to be going along with it, right? So instead of actually fighting back, doing anything at all to create change in the world, they're all still going to be believing it's part of the plan. No, Trump getting ousted from office and, giving total control to the other side of the fake left-right paradigm. Well, that's part of the plan too. Just wait. In 6 weeks, it's dropping. We're getting new drops, guys. And the craziest thing about all of this is that we have these BLM people and all these people that claim to be progressives have been calling Orange Man the KKK guy. They've been doing it forever, right? But literally, Joe Biden gave the eulogy for an actual bona fide KKK member that did the first filibuster, as far as I know. And what was he filibustering for? Because he was standing up against the Civil Rights Act, right? Because he was a true bona fide KKK racist, actual in the flesh. So, this guy, 50 years in office, whatever, he's real well known for hanging out with actual racists, right? And then these people are cheering it on. So now that this is ending, they're dropping the Trump Accountability Project. Go ahead and get a hit list together of all Trump supporters, anybody that collaborated with Trump, right? Because that's the way we do things here. As soon as these people get in power, like we said, the people that claim that they're all nice and virtuous and wonderful, loving people, as soon as they even get a shadow of a taste or a hint of power, they're ready to go on the offensive, right? Yep, taking your guns, doing this, we're going to take you down. We're putting a list together of anybody that supported it, and we're coming after you. And that's after the last 4 years that we've watched these people call half of the country Nazis, racists, bigots, hateful, idiots, everything that they've come, right? The media, the tech people, and then all the people that are brainwashed NPCs, all the political activist groups, the Media Matters groups and Soros groups, all these different groups, everybody's racist. Now they're like, you guys just need to accept the defeat, and we need to unify the country now. Oh, okay, right. Unifying the country by creating the Trump Accountability Project and going after their political adversaries, right? Because that's what they want to do. The people on the far left, the progressives, the BLM types, they hate us. And by us, I'm not saying Trump supporters in particular, anybody that doesn't go along with that narrative, with that agenda, with that mainstream corporate delivered narrative that they all jump on board. They hate us. They want us jobless. They want us homeless. They want us dead. That's literally what they want. If they could, they would kill all of us. That's what they would do. They talk about it all the time, right? Oh, I hope you get by a car. You guys eat. Blah, blah, blah. You look on social media. They have the most hateful, angry rhetoric you've ever seen. At the same time that they're doing, they claim love and peace. Oh gosh, we're just all so progressive. It's just such nonsense. And that's what happens in the far left. And and I'm not trying to, be left-right divisive, but that's just the reality of the current paradigm, and that's what these people are. And they do. They want to take everything from us, but they still want to be able to tax us, right? They still want to be able to tax us so that we can fund their lifestyles. They want the established order wants Biden in office so bad that they're willing to allow him to break Obama's records by receiving the most votes in American history. Just think about that. They literally looked at Obama as a deity. He was a god creature. It was, and they still do, even though Obama was basically just another term of George Bush, right? They still just worshipped the ground that he works on. Like, oh, I miss Obama. I miss Obama. The guy was a warmonger, just like every other president, right? But yet, they were willing to give that up. They were willing to push Obama to the side so that they could do this. Can you believe it? Can you believe that? Man, we're living in clown world. And then to finish it off, I just want to post a little PSA for why big government is always a bad idea under any and all circumstances, right? So we've had Trump in office for 4 years, boasting about how he's rebuilding the military, increasing funding, we're going to bolster the military and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? So Trump was relatively not quite as big of a warmonger as several other presidents that we've had, but he was still a warmonger, still did drone strikes, still struck Syria, still did all kinds of different things, right? That war crimes, just like every other president. But he didn't do quite as many. He didn't invade any new countries as far as I know. Who knows? We don't really know the truth as far as that goes anyways. But now he's handed over this revitalized, increased spending, bolstered spending of the military, and the strongest military ever. Now, we're going to be handing that over to Biden. And what's Biden going to do? Well, Biden's going to do whatever they want him to do. So whatever countries we need to invade, whatever drafts we need to do, whatever new military operations we need to do, Biden will push forward. And now that Trump's out of the way, well, guess what's going to happen? The establishment will begin their collaborating together once again, push the Greater Israel Project for a New American Century, all the other neocon, neolib projects that they have, and the war machine is going to go on, and all the people are like, oh yes, we're going back to the old days. And what are the old days? War, murder, mayhem, destruction, watching our young people die in wars of conquest for people that don't even live here in the United States. And that's what everybody's cheering on. I don't even know where to leave it from there, guys. I'm trying not to be a big downer today, but this pisses me off. You know what I mean? I expect more out of humanity than this. I really do. I expect more. I expect more out of people. I expect people to educate themselves and think logically and reasonably. But we just can't expect that out of anybody anymore. And I want peace, right? I want peace all over the whole world. Peace and freedom. That's what I want. Peace, freedom, justice, right? For everybody on the world, every single human being on the planet. That's what I want, right? But there are other people and organizations in the world that will not allow it, right? They will not allow it. We're not allowed to live in peace. They will not leave us alone. They must dominate every faction of our lives. Every single thing that we do, they must be the ones telling us how and when to do it, no matter what. Government won't leave us alone. Politicians and all their organizations, they just won't leave us alone. Corporations won't leave us alone. Nobody will just leave us alone. That's all I want. I just want to be left alone. Let us live in peace. That's it. We can't. Got to go to war. Got to increase power. Got to bring in the technocratic agenda. We need to separate everybody by essential and non-essential humans. Man, we got to wake up. Wake up. It's time to wake up, everybody, all sides. This has to end. I'm not giving up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving up. I mean, I'm more fired up than ever right now. And there could be a silver lining in all of this, right? Maybe maybe Joey Joe getting into office will be a wake-up call for the people that might be willing to start standing up, right? Maybe that'll happen. Maybe that's the silver lining here. Maybe maybe it could be a good thing, because they are going to be drastically changing things, right? And go along with the Great Reset and the Build Back Better and everything. So maybe there is a silver lining, but I still have faith. But my God, the people on the 17th letter, you've got to wake up. All the patriots out there supporting DJT, you got to wake up. It is. There's nobody is going to save we the people except for we the people. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to us, and that's it. It's up to the citizen. There's no institution. There's no politician. There's no civil society organization. Nothing. It is up to each one of us individually as a collective to save the world. Literally. That's it. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in today. I do love you all. I have great respect for humanity. And, like I said, I just want peace and freedom for everybody all over the world. If you don't subscribe yet, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check me out on all the alternatives. I have a secondary YouTube channel, Wolves and Sheeple 2. You can find me on BitChute, Library, BitTubers, brand new tube, Float. I'm literally everywhere. You got to follow me on the alternatives before I get banned here again. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you're doing well. Check back tomorrow for another video, and take care.